Hi my friends, welcome back to another video. I am so excited because one of the most popular videos on this channel has been a video that I recorded, I think it was in 2021, and it's how to start a subscription box business in, I don't know, 15 steps or something. So I decided that because this video is super popular and because times have changed and I might have different updates on some things, I want to do an update of that video. So today we're going to dive into basically how to start a subscription box business with ease in about 10 steps that you can do in just a few months. So let's dive into it. If we have not met, my name is Carrie Fitzgerald and I'm an e-commerce and a subscription box business strategist and mentor. And I'm here to help you start or grow a business with ease so it doesn't have to feel overcomplicated. And this channel is all about really showing you the real side of having an e-commerce business that is fluff-free and, you know, the realistic kind. So let's dive into it. So you have probably watched videos on YouTube or Instagram or TikTok or whatever, and something has sparked interest in you that you're like, hey, I'm going to start a subscription box business. I have an idea. Or you might already have an e-commerce business where you're selling stickers or magnets or making t-shirts, or, you know, you're already selling a product and you're thinking, I want to capitalize on the subscription model. And I'm going to make another video on the pros and cons of a subscription box versus if you sell a product and offering it as a subscription. So they're two different things. I like one better than the other, but this video is just about giving you the hard facts on how to start a subscription box business, because when I started mine back in 2016, I didn't have YouTube videos to give me the step-by-step, and I wasted a lot of time and I made a lot of mistakes and I wasted money, and I'm here to help you save money. So let's dive right into it. The number one thing and the first thing I want you to think of is, what is the niche? Who am I targeting? What am I going to give to people? Just because you're selling stickers today doesn't mean that you need to start a subscription box business. You have to think like, who is my ideal customer? What problem am I solving for them? What niche is this going to be in? And that's this is the most important part, okay? Because you can basically have an idea for a subscription box business and you can have the drive to start it. But if you choose the wrong idea, it may not be a profitable one. And remember, this is a business, not a hobby. If you want this to be a hobby, then don't waste your time. Don't make this a hobby. Basically, go do something else. Learn how to paint or go paddleboarding or something. This is a business and you're going to take a lot of your time and energy to create this business. So do it right the first time. So the number one thing that you have to really figure out is, like, what is the niche? What am I going to be selling people? So I had a subscription box business and an e-commerce store, all catered to the high-end dog and dog mom niche. So I sold dog bandanas, accessories, high-end treats, high-end toys, etc. So my subscription box business was completely catered to the dog mom who wanted to spoil their dog with a fun, trendy bandana every single month. There was no subscription boxes back then that had bandanas. So that was my unique value proposition. And it's really important that you have a unique value proposition. There are already a million boxes out there. No matter what you're about to sell or want to sell, there's probably a bunch that already are doing that. And that doesn't mean that it's too saturated. I don't really believe in saturation, although at some point I do believe in saturation. But for this video and this purpose, I think if you want to do something, do it, but just make sure that you have a way to market your product so it's different than your competitors. Don't look at all your competitors and say, oh, well, Susan and Sally and Jordan and, you know, Lauren are doing this thing, so I'm gonna jump on the bandwagon and do that same thing. You have to do something that's different. This is so freaking important. Don't jump on the bandwagon and copy them because they're doing X, Y, and Z. So you really, really, really have to do something that's different from your competitors. So that's the first step. So I don't want to dive too much into the first step, but it's really just figuring out your niche. So Say I'm going to use Dollar Shave Club as an example. One of the most popular and one of the OG subscription services out there. They sell, I actually don't know a lot about their actual product, but they sell, or they ship out razors and I think some other goodies each month to people that want to shave. So if that's your niche, cool. What can you do different? If you're thinking something in the pet space, what do people need every single month? Do they need bandanas or toys or treats? And then looking at what already exists out there, do market research, make a list of all the competitors and look at what are they doing? Who do I think their ideal customer is? What is their vibe or, niche or whatever? What kind of person are they targeting? Looking at reviews under a microscope and figuring out what are people complaining about, what do their customers like about their product, what do they not like, where is the opportunity for me? That is the biggest thing that you can do. This is free market research that you can do. It just takes your time. But if you can figure out what someone else is doing with their business and figure out, because their customers are actually telling you, what they're not doing good enough or what they're missing in their product or box, and then boom, that is your opportunity right there. So if you can figure out that little gap in the market of what customers want, but current businesses aren't giving, that is your opportunity right there. So I plead with you, do the market research, look at what already exists, and what could I do differently? Don't jump on the bandwagon and copy everyone else. It will not work out for you. I see this all the time, especially in the pet industry, because I get a lot of pet people that come to me because I had a pet business. And it's kind of the same thing. You sell the same things to the same people, the same marketing. What makes it easy for a customer to choose you versus everyone else? It's not. So you have to do something that's different. So just to recap, step one, we're figuring out our niche, our ideal customer. So this is a lot of things blobbed into one thing, but they kind of fall under the same thing. Ideal customer, your niche, your product idea into one. So whether that is selling jewelry, selling water bottles, actually that's a terrible idea. Don't sell water bottles on a subscription because then people just rack up and compile water bottles, and there's only so many water bottles you need. So my hint here, I didn't mention this in the first step, but my hint here is I believe the best subscription boxes are ones that are consumable, which means the human, the pet, the kid, whoever uses the product and then they need more of it. So with a dog subscription box that focuses on food or treats or whatever, or toys, their dog's gonna rip up the toys, eat the treats, consume the food, and then the customer needs more of that. Razors and all that. I don't know how often, for example, men's razors, I don't know how often you might need a new one, but after a while, razors will get rusty, full of hair, just gross, and you need a new one. So you can see here, consumable. For example, Ipsy. I've gotten Ipsy subscription box for years and I love it because I can try new things and there's just a little sample. And so I use it and then I'm like, ooh, I can't wait for my next box. So my best advice is, when you're looking at a box of things or a niche or whatever, think of consumable things that people will use and then want to get another shipment in the next month. Because once someone starts to compile a lot of stuff, they won't want another box from you. So that's the people that will cancel or pause their subscription. Okay, the next thing that you need to do is you need to, and this is sort of a lot of stuff mapped into one, but you need to look at pricing. So actually, I'm gonna do one more thing first. So I sort of just touched upon the big red flags with the subscription box products because you might have an idea for something like, let's say, personalized frames each month, where people can put in pictures or something. But a picture frame is probably going to be glass. So now it is fragile, breakable, probably a large item that you have to ship. So that is 3 red flags when you are looking at shipping product. The best combination for you is light, small, and lightweight, small in size, non-fragile. So something that you can ship in a little poly mailer bag, or you can ship in a small box. Just because it's called subscription box, it doesn't actually mean that it has to be in a box. A lot of subscriptions actually come in little pouches or bags, so that's also okay. So when it comes to choosing your product, lightweight is always best. Unbreakable and small is best case scenario. And then the other thing I want to kind of pop in here is pricing. So pricing is possibly going to be your pitfall. I see this all the time, and it's a mistake I made with my subscription box business. When I first started, I started with a lower price, and I quickly realized I'm doing all this work, I'm packing all these orders, I'm doing all this stuff, and I'm not making enough profit because I wasn't charging enough money, because I looked at all the competitors and I thought, okay, well, if everyone else is charging $30, I can't charge that much more than $30. And in fact, that's not true. You can really charge whatever you want to, as long as you have a strong value proposition. And I firmly believe that. So make sure you are making enough profit. So I'm going to drop in a link in the show notes below. It is a price calculator from a platform called Cratejoy. That's a platform host I used for my subscription box. But I really like it because you can put in like rough estimates of product, you know, how much you might spend on advertising, your packaging, how much your inserts cost, what your shipping cost is. And again, you might not know any of this information, but keep it handy, because you can always, after you kind of come up with your idea and you kind of start thinking of like, okay, what products would I put in? If I go to look at these product prices up, for example, on Amazon, chop the price in half, and that's probably around, give or take, what your wholesale cost could be if you were going to assemble your own box. So if you were going to put in 4 to 5 items, find the Amazon, just for an example. It doesn't have to be Amazon too. It could be Target.com. It could be Walmart.com. Just find like a big brand retailer and then chop the price in half. And that's about what your wholesale cost will be. If you add a bunch of those items together, put in $5 for a box, maybe $1 or $2 for other things. Let's say $5 to $6 for shipping. That's going to be your price that it costs you to ship out a box to a customer. Now, that is not what you charge a customer. You need to be making a profit. And I'm going to give you an estimate here based on industry standards of what a lot of subscription boxes are making for profit and margins. But I also want you to think that you need to make even more than that. So you should be making around 50% profit margin. So if it cost you $25 to put together a box of goodies, you should be charging at least minimum $50. So again, part of it with pricing is like, what will people pay? What will the market bear? But for you, you need to be making enough money. You know, once your business scales, even though you would think, okay, well, once my business scales and I'm making more sales, that means more profit, but that doesn't actually always mean more profit. You're going to have more expenses. You're probably going to be going to using a warehouse or a fulfillment center or hiring a team. And, you know, there's always things to pay for. So do yourself a favor and you need to be making a profit here. Okay. Maybe it's 30% profit. I think aim for about 50, but do the best you can. You can always change your pricing. You can always negotiate better deals on products. But if off the cuff, you're like, okay, it's going to cost me minimum $20 to put this box together and ship it out to customers. There's no way in hell people will pay $40 for this. Then either don't do that idea or find something else. You know, you can get creative here. I know one of the most popular subscription services in the whole world sells stickers. It's like some kind of a sticker of the month club. And I'm not sure how much it costs to make stickers. I'm going to guess very, very cheap. They probably come in a teeny tiny little package, which probably costs a couple bucks to ship. Like, that is an awesome product because, again, it falls under my 3 things: lightweight, small in size, non-fragile. When you have lightweight, small in size, non-fragile, that means you're probably able to ship this in a really small package, which means your packaging costs will be low, your shipping costs will be low, and it's not going to break. So those are like, shipping eats into a huge portion of your margins. I'm just going to give you a heads up on this. And customers don't want to pay for shipping. So you have to kind of increase the price of the product to make up for the shipping costs that you're actually charging a customer. Even though you might give them free shipping, you still want to bake the shipping cost into the product. So for example, if your product in like COGS, etc., is about $20 and it costs you $5 to ship the product to a customer, let's tack that on later. So it's $20 for all of your cost, and you want to charge the customer $40. Well, instead of charging $40 plus $5 for shipping, I'd rather you charge $45 in free shipping, because psychologically, customers don't want to pay for shipping. They don't. If you charge them shipping, they probably won't buy your product. I think shipping for e-commerce is a little bit more acceptable. Like if you buy a sweatshirt and it's $5 to ship, like, okay, fine. For whatever reason, with subscription boxes, people can be really funny with shipping costs. That doesn't mean it doesn't exist, but I want you to be aware that, it's smarter for you to add the shipping cost into the product price, because that more people will actually buy it. I know that sounds weird, but psychologically, shipping doesn't add value to the product, but it's not free for you. You have to still charge for it. So you can bake that into the actual product price. Okay, now that we've covered shipping, we've covered some red flags with products and like what to avoid, and we've covered choosing your niche, your idea, your product. Let's move on to the next thing. I'm gonna say is the legal stuff. And I don't really want to put this at the very top, but I think if you're serious about the business, you can sort of get started on this. And so I'll just give you what I recommend doing. I also really appreciate this whole philosophy of don't pay for legal stuff until you're actually making money. That's not possibly what you should do, but I kind of respect that thought process on it. So here's what I did for when I started my subscription box business. I did a DBA. So I did doing business as. When I started my first business in 2016, I was living in California, and California is really strict when it comes to starting a business. If you are in California and you have a business, you're like, yes, I know. They make it really hard. And then I moved to Washington State, and I was like, wow, Washington makes it really easy to start a business. So anyway, because I've started a business both in California and in Washington, and in both of those states, I've done an LLC, which I'll talk about in a sec. So what I did with my first business was I did a DBA in California, and then 6 months in, maybe even less than 6 months, I was making money. I was, making consistent revenue coming in. And so I then turned my business into an LLC. So an LLC will protect you from personal assets, where if someone tries to sue you, they're not going to come after your personal things like a house or a car or anything like that, just the business. So I recommend, especially if you are doing anything that can potentially, like, I don't want to say harm someone because that sounds weird, but like, for example, I was selling pet products. So a dog could have eaten one of the treats that I gave them, got sick, died, or had to get surgery, and they could try to come after me because I gave them those treats. So if you're doing anything that the product could sort of potentially hurt a person, or I'm not even gonna go down like products for kids, because that's probably a whole different legal thing. So if you were thinking of something with kids, I would do LLC from day one. Don't take any chances. Even for pets, because people treat pets like kids. I know I do. And if there's an issue with the product and someone gets sick, people are sue crazy. So just kind of keep that in mind. And I don't want this to be legal advice to you. I'm not a lawyer. I'm just telling you what I did. And I always want to give you options to make it easy for you to start a business. So I started with a DBA. 6 months later, once I was making money, I then I then turned my business into an LLC, which again protects your personal assets. So then I moved to Washington. I had to do an LLC in Washington, and then I sold the business. And then my current business, the current consulting business I have now, from day one, I just did LLC for that one too. So LLC in Washington, totally different than California, way easier to just do it. California definitely is a lot more strict. So, and there's a lot of options with this kind of stuff. Again, I'm not going to go into that. That's for you to figure out on your own, but for tax purposes and all that kind of good stuff, you can technically form your business. You know, technically you're supposed to form your business where the product ships. There is loopholes around that, like starting a business in Delaware. Again, not going to go into the specific here. You can Google that or look it up on your own or speak to your own lawyer, but just giving you some options. So legal stuff is good to get started on, coming up with your business name, forming, you know, DBA, LLC, whatever you want to do. You know, figuring out your business licenses. Every state has totally different rules and laws. For example, one of my clients that I helped her launch a scrunchie business in Texas at the time, I was pretty shocked at how easy it is to start a business in Texas. They pretty much need no information and they're like, okay, you can sell stuff. California, totally different. Washington, totally different. Every state's different, but the main things that you need are your business license. You need like an EIN number. You need a business bank account. All pretty easy things. You just have to kind of go through and do the paperwork, kind of boring stuff, but it needs to be done. You need to legally be able to sell things. And again, just look up your state and what are the laws and licenses you need to sell products, and just do that. So again, every state's going to be a little bit different, so I'm not going to go into that too much here, but just want to give you a well-rounded route to do that. Okay. So the next thing I want to do, and these aren't like exactly in any particular order, they're sort of in order, but I'm sort of just going through the important things that you need to do when you're starting a subscription box. So some of them might not be exactly how you should be doing it, but the next thing that you want to do is, so there's a lot of options when it comes to what website do you do? What platform do you host your subscription box on? Okay, so this is a tip that's going to be different from my first video. So in my first video, I talked about Cratejoy as the subscription platform that is the one that I would recommend. But today I'm going to recommend something different to you. So what I'd recommend for your subscription platform and host is Shopify. I am team Shopify all the way. I've been using them for years for coaching clients and with my own, like I have a course that helps you create a Shopify store, and Shopify is just amazing. So it's your website platform, but you can also buy an app that you can use for the recurring payments. And so what I would recommend today, 2023, is Shopify website. You're gonna have to tweak it a little bit for the subscription box part, which is totally fine. And then you're gonna wanna get an app that can do the recurring payments. So for example, Bold. I'm just gonna give you one because otherwise too many options, too many choices. But Bold is an app that you can set up with Shopify, and that's what's gonna do the recurring payments. So when I started my business in 2016, I didn't know anything about Shopify and I didn't know anything about anything. And I did my own Google research, and I found this platform called Cratejoy that would do the subscription, the website, everything in one. And so I just used that one. But to be honest with you, since then, I have really fallen in love with Shopify. So I'd recommend Shopify to you. So again, Shopify, and then add a recurring payment app like Bold, and you are good to go. Okay, and then combining that, I'm gonna talk about your website. So you can basically go to shopify.com. I'm gonna leave a link below with my affiliate link to Shopify because I love Shopify and I love affiliate marketing. You can go there and you can just choose a different theme. I'm sorry, not a different theme. You can choose a theme to sign up with, and they literally have so many different themes. You can choose by industry. You can choose by aesthetic. If you know that you need video, you can filter by video. So you can just kind of choose one, find the one that suits you the best, honestly. There's a lot I could go into with choosing a website theme, but just kind of go through the themes they have and just look at which one you think you could envision your brand on and kind of go with that one, honestly. Shopify has templates that you can use. So they're drag and drop. There's no coding necessary. They are relatively easy to set up. One thing I would say is don't underestimate the power of product photography. So this is where a lot of businesses that start a subscription box business, they make the mistake of not spending the time and money on getting product photos. So it doesn't mean that it has to cost you $1 million. I literally found someone on Craigslist who was a photographer in the making. He wanted to set up a portfolio. And so he did this whole photo shoot for me with my product. I brought my dog. It was a beach in California. It was beautiful. And he did all of my first product photos, lifestyle plus white background, for like $300. And because of those photos, my website, when I launched it, looked amazing because I had awesome photos. So photos are a very important part of an e-commerce or a subscription box business, and you have to get photos taken. So when you get photos done and then use those for your website, you'll be shocked at how good your website actually will look like. So that is a super, super important step, but your website's gonna be a really, really important thing, and then use product photos as well. Okay, and then the next step you want to do is, and I want you to kind of keep this simple for now, is your visual branding. So your visual branding is going to be your brand colors, your brand fonts, your logo, etc. So when someone finds you and they see your website, they should really feel a connection instantly, and they should want to like keep scrolling. And that's the power of brand colors and fonts and like the vibe that you're putting out into the world. It's really, really important, but that does not mean that you need to spend $1 million doing it. When I started my business, I mean, my background is marketing, so I have, I already have experience with the visual parts of creating a brand, but I basically found someone on Fiverr who created my logo for me for $20. And it was a really good logo. So you can look on Fiverr or Upwork and find someone who can do a logo for you or visual branding for an affordable price point. It doesn't need to cost you a ton of money. The thing that I get really, not mad at people for, but advise them against is when you are starting your business, you don't need a $1,000 logo. You don't need a $2,000 logo. You don't need a $5,000 visual branding package. You don't even know if your business is going to work yet. You haven't made a penny in sales. And I guarantee you, your business, what you think today versus 1 year from now, is going to look totally different. I'd rather you save your money, launch scrappily, sell some products, make some money, validate your business idea here. And then once your business is actually making money, then go and do the visual branding and buy the fancy packaging and buy the, $5,000 visual branding audit and that kind of stuff. So I'm going to give you the scrappy ways to get started because I want you to get started. I don't want you to get hung up on, the cost of a $5,000 Shopify website and a $5,000 branding package. You don't need any of that stuff. You can find people who can do it for way cheaper. / you can also do some of this stuff yourself. I did all this myself when I started, and my website wasn't perfect. My branding wasn't perfect. My packaging wasn't perfect, but it was good enough because I made money right away. So visual branding is really important. And the best thing I can tell you is, when it comes to the visual branding, you want to kind of do research on who are the brands that you love. Why do you like them? What is it about the colors that pull you in? And I talk about this story all the time on my podcast called the 6-Figure Product Business Podcast. Depending on when this episode comes out, we're about to celebrate our 200th episode, so I'm super excited. But I talk a lot about this brand called Maddle Paddleboards. It's my favorite paddleboarding company. I love paddleboarding. And when I was looking for a paddleboard 2 years ago and came across them on, I think I was looking on Facebook Marketplace, then I was hit by an ad from them. And their visual vibe and the aesthetic of the paddleboard pulled me in. I clicked on the ad, went to their website, and it was like love at first sight with the website. The colors, the vibe, like the images, everything spoke to me. And I knew right away that was the brand for me to buy. And so that's kind of the thing that you want to do with your visual branding. You want it to have a personality. Is your brand funny? Is it serious? Is it quiet? Is it like super sassy? Is it soft muted? You want to have a personality, and the colors and all that should match up with that. So I'm going to move on to the next step, but that is a really, really, really important one. And then kind of leading into the next thing is going to be the packaging. So for a subscription box, your packaging is definitely really important. And I want you, again, let's just keep it simple for now. If you're looking at a box, you have to find a box supplier. A lot of people in the subscription box space, before they actually start making a lot of I almost just said before they start making a lot of boxes. Before they start making a lot of sales, they're going to be using packaging companies like Pack Lane or Packable or something like that, where you can get, 100 boxes at maybe $5-6 each. It's definitely a lot of money, but you can get a lower quantity and you can change things. You can change the size. You're not married to any design. Once you go down the road of working with a box manufacturing company and you have to invest in print plates and die boards, that's going to cost you a couple $1,000s. You are married to that design. You can't change the size, you can't change the design. So if you're like, oh shoot, I launched this product and spent all this money on packaging and then realized that this box is too big, I don't need this huge box. Well, you can't change it then. So I always recommend start small, use like Packable, Pack Lane, Box Up, these box printing companies that allow you to order everything from 1 box to 10 boxes to 20 boxes to 100. Just get whatever you need to get started, and it's going to cost you more. That's just part of the game here. You pay more for flexibility. And then over time, you'll figure out the right sweet spot for the box size or your packaging size. And if you want to rebrand or you want to get a new logo, then it doesn't matter. You don't have to like go with the print plates and die boards. So for my business, it took me a year plus before I invested in the box manufacturing company. And that's because I was starting to send out hundreds of items per month. And so at that point, it made sense for me to get the cheaper price point. I invested a couple grand in the print plates and die boards, and then my box price went down to like $1, and I was ordering like, I don't know, 2,000 at a time or something. So it just kind of depends what you need, but I would say start off with small and simple. And the next thing is going to be your pre-launch. So I'm going to kind of combine a couple things into your pre-launch, and I'm going to make it sound really, really easy, but it's actually a lot of work, but you can do it. Okay, so the first thing with your pre-launch that you're wanting to do is you're going to want to start all of your social channels. You're going to want to have a landing page on your website. So if you're using Shopify, there's something on Shopify where you can do a pre-launch page, and you can basically start collecting email addresses, and you want to start driving traffic, audience, driving people's awareness to your landing page that says, hey, we're launching our Shave Club subscription box in 2 months. If you join our email list, you can get a free razor with purchase, or like you can get 20% off your first purchase or whatever. Make it incentivizing for them, but you want to give them some sort of offer, and you want to start collecting email addresses because you're going to need those emails when you launch your business, and email marketing is everything. The second thing that you want to do is you want to start showing behind the scenes. So this is a really, really important one. Start showing behind the scenes. And so you might start your social channels from day one. And actually, that's what you should do. You should start your social channels. And when I say social channel, I can't say that. Social channels, choose Instagram or TikTok and just choose one. You can choose both if you want to. I'd go with TikTok, to be honest. In 2023, TikTok is where it's at. Easier to grow, better algorithm than Instagram, but everyone loves Instagram, so do whatever the hell you want. But choose 1 or 2 of those and start showing behind the scenes. Take people behind the scenes with you throughout the entire process. When you're choosing the box, when you're coming up with your brand designs, when you're getting your first product samples in, when you are doing your tax stuff, going to get your bank account. Like, I'm serious, bring people behind the scenes and show them everything. By the time you launch your business, you will already have all these people that have been starting to follow you, have discovered you, and now they feel connected to your brand because they've seen all the behind the scenes. I didn't do this when I started my business. I did a little bit of this, and this is a huge mistake. And if I was starting a business in 2023, the second I sort of got started, I would have TikTok or Instagram, but to be honest, TikTok. and I would start showing people everything behind the scenes. I'd be walking them through my thought process, my packaging, the product samples. Here's why I chose this. This is the name. Here's my brain dump of the names, like everything. Because that stuff is gold for creating connections with people and trust. You are building so much trust. You are no longer a faceless business. You are an actual human who's sitting there like looking at fonts and looking at colors and looking at products. So do behind the scenes, and then you can also share that with your email list. And then you want to get a prototype box. So again, some of the stuff you might do in a different order, which is totally fine. I'm just kind of giving you all the things you need to do. Prototype box or a sample box where you have the branded packaging, you have items that you can put inside, and you can take photos and all that. So I would definitely have those for your photo shoot, and just get something where you can kind of get those boxes. If you basically do the photos first and then you need a sample photo of your prototype box with items inside, you can go to someone called Soona, S-O-O-N-A, where you can ship them the box. They can take photos for you, and then you can buy a couple of those. So there's always ways to kind of get around that, but prototype box is important because you can use that for your email list. You can do that for social media. You can do that on your Shopify store, all that kind of stuff. So super important. And then really when I say pre-launch is choosing your launch date and then working backwards. So if you're launching your business in 2 months from now, then this is your pre-launch period, 2 months, and all you need to be doing, we want to keep it really simple here. Creating excitement. That's it. How do you create excitement for your business? You talk about it. You're excited. You're like sharing them behind the scenes. You are sending your email list updates. You're letting them know, hey, we're launching in 2 months. Tell your friends. Here's a countdown. We're going to be giving away boxes. Like, you're just basically creating a buzz and excitement around their product, and that's it. You want to be getting email addresses. So again, drive people to your landing page. If you're going to be using TikTok, tell people, hey, go to my, like, if you don't have enough followers to get your link in bio or whatever it is in TikTok, I forget. Do whatever you need to do to drive people to your website so you can start collecting email addresses. And that's really it. That's your pre-launch in a really simplified way. And then the next step is literally launching your business. So I want you to not overthink this too much. I know there's a lot of pressure when you're launching a new store that you have to get like $1 million in sales from day one, but you don't. You don't need $1 million in sales from day one. Launch the business, get feedback on your product, talk to your customers, understand why they're buying from you, what they like about the product, what they would recommend doing differently. Get social proof, ask them for photos of them with your box, or their dog with the box, or whatever your product is. Get UGC, which is user generated content. Promote that content on your social media, on your website, on your email list. Continue to market your business, launch the business, and then market the heck out of it. That is it. Like, you don't need some crazy launch. You just need to get it out into the world, and then you need to market your business. Marketing is like 90% the success of your business, because if people don't know about you, they can't buy from you. And I have a lot of videos on how to market your e-commerce, your product-based business. I'll link some of those in the slide, whatever it's called, the screen. And I can put some links below, but that's pretty much it. Like, you just want to launch, and then don't worry about a crazy launch. A lot of people don't have a big launch, and they continue to grow their business. They continue to nurture customers, create an awesome experience for them, and then the sales will roll in. So that is it for my friends. I hope you like this video. If you are looking at starting your own subscription box business, I have a free training below that you can click, and it's going to give you I think it walks you through 4 ways to figure out your subscription box idea. And I also have a course called the Subscription Box Launch Academy, which walks you through step by step on how to start and launch your own subscription box business. So if you have any questions, you can drop them below. I hope you liked this updated video. This is definitely a really long one, hopefully not too long. And any questions you have, you can drop below, and I will see you guys next week.